Alright guys, I just want to give you a brief tutorial on how I spool my fishing reels. First and foremost, I do like to have a clear line backing before the braid. Only reason is you save a lot of braid by using old cheap line that you have laying around. More than likely you'll never have to even use this stuff, so it just kind of fills up that spool. When you do fish, you're usually only using, I don't know, 100 yards or so maximum. Even if you got a big fish pulling you there, you're not going to go into too much braid. So I like to have a nice backing just to kind of save some of my braid here, because I'm not going to use it all. And the way I do it, first and foremost, I've got this old Seagar. I think this is 20 or 25 pound fluorocarbon that I'm no longer using. It's sat out in the sun too much and all that stuff, so I'm not too into that stuff. So the way I do it is I make a nice big loop first, and then I come back on it with a little loop like this. So one big loop, one little loop, and then I'll tie, essentially I'm making a uni knot. I'm just going to tie a couple little loops here, try to keep it in the camera, like that, and then pull it tight. Bear with me guys, sorry about the angle here. Trying to work with it. Alright, and then I'll pull that tight. Well, you get the idea. And so I got a little slip knot here. So I'll make it big like this, double it up on itself like this. So I've got two. Flip that bail wire, stick it over, and then pull it tight like that. After it's tight, I'll come over, grab my scissors, I'll cut that tag line off right there, get it nice and short, and that's it. Flip that over, and that's step one. Alright guys, so the next thing I do after I've got that line tied up to my spool, I'll mount the reel just like you would any other rod. I'll screw it down nice and tight, and then I'll take this line. Now a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll tie it through the guide here down into the line and just do it that way. That's fine. It does mess up your guides a little bit there, especially when you're reeling fast. It'll burn right through it. So what I do, make sure I can get this on camera, I take the line, I'll make a little loop through the top like this, and I'll stick something like a Sharpie through it, and then I'll rest it on there like that. And that usually does the case, does the work there. I'll take the spool of my line, I'll put another pen through that, and then that part I'll rest on my feet. Just down here like this. And then when you pull it tight, and then we'll wind it on there kind of nice and tight. Dancing that Sharpie a little bit. Alright, so once we get our clear line backing onto our reel, the next step is going to be to tie on our braid. So what I do with that is I take the end of my clear line and I'll take it to the braid here. You're going to parallel them like so. First with the braid, you're going to make a little loop just like this. You're going to wrap the tag end of that loop several times. I usually do about 6 or 7 around both the clear line and the braid itself. So again, about 6 or 7 times. I have no idea how many I just did there, but just a decent amount like that. Alright, and this is called a uni to uni knot, so what we're doing. Alright, and then take that tag in, pull it tight. And you can see a nice little, tiny little knot there. Alright. Then with the clear line, we're going to do the same thing but in reverse. So keep it parallel to the braid. I'm sorry, that braid's kind of hard to pick up on camera there, but keep it parallel to the braid. Loop that clear part around, and for the clear part, since it's such a thick line, I'm only going to do about three little loops here. So spin it back over the braid and the clear part. 1, 2, 3. Pull it tight. And the reason for that is because it's such a thick line compared to the braid that it's going to stop. It's going to stop that little braid right there, which you'll see in a second, from going through it. You don't need to have a gargantuan braid because, or a gargantuan knot rather, because then it's just going to kind of screw up your line and your reel and so forth. So anyway, so what you're going to do next is the fun part. You're going to take both of those, the braided line and the clear line. This part's going to my reel. This part's going to this spool right here. Pull them together and let them kiss. And you can see that they are snug tight to each other right there. Alright, then what we're going to do after giving it a little firm tug like this, take our scissors and cut as close as we can to that knot. See it there? Snip. This thin braid gets a little hard to cut sometimes, especially with me being behind the camera like this, but here's this. I do a little tiny chops. Snip. Alright. And that leaves us this nice little knot right here. Alright, and just like we did with that clear back end, we're just going to wind it on down into our reel. Important note is that I'm keeping pressure with my toe on the spool here. I'm also using the carpet a little bit just to keep that line pretty tight within the reel here. Alright, and there she is, all spooled and ready to fish.